literature.
Mm. Yeah, it's important that hear we hear from an undisturbed acharya. Otherwise, means if somebody is getting disturbed by the changes of the world, means no, if um, somebody gets tempted by the allurements present in the world, so then they may twist the truth to get some favors from their disciples or something. Yeah. Even if, let's say, the divorce, if somebody is after followers, then they may compromise the presentation of the philosophy to suit to get more people. So that way, but no, if we see Prabhupada is very, means he is very clear, and no, he did not hesitate to criticize the claims of science, and he did not hesitate to criticize the demigod, the life of sense gratification, materialistic life. So that way, they will present the truth very clearly without any compromise. Okay, so you can take some time and think of these things. So give examples from Shastra or spiritual masters who are not bona fide. And give examples from Shastra or spiritual masters who are bona fide. And what are the disadvantages of following a spiritual master who is not bona fide? And what are the advantages of following a spiritual master of a bona fide spiritual master? So we can take around 6 minutes and then we'll discuss. Hare Krishna. So for the first question, okay, Anish Prabhu, yes.
Can we say Lord Buddha? Because even though he was incarnation, he didn't follow the Vedas, so he's not a bona fide spiritual.
Yeah, you can see.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Rajpati Gopinath Prabhu Mataji.
Sukracharya, we can tell Prabhu.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Next.
Prahlad Maharaj teachers, we can say or not, Prabhu? No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, you can say also Shanda and Bharat. Fine.
Okay.
Okay, Pratik Prabhu Mataji.
Guruji, same Prabhuji, Prahlad Maharaj teachers, Shanda and Amrita.
Okay, okay, thank you. Okay, Soumya Mataji.
Prabhuji, Rishabh Dev followers who
आप नहीं देख रहे हो पता है धर्म में ना बताने
जो आगे चल के फिर जैन जो रिलीजन है उसके वो बने because they were
Okay.
trying to imitate Lord Rishabh Dev. And
King Arhat or something his name is.
yeah.
Thank you.
That
Okay.
is other Rishabh Dev, na Prabhu, like not the original Rishabh Dev.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
there are two
He's an
Rishabh Devs.
imitator of Rishabh. Yes.
Okay, not the original Rishabh Dev, right? Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think good examples. Okay, now, yes, Prabhu, we have some more examples.
Second question, Prabhu, sorry.
Yes, yes, you can tell. Second question, yes, you can tell.
You can say Narada Muni because for Dhruv Maharaj, like,
Yes, yes, yes.
and also Ramanujacharya, we can say like
Yeah,
for
yeah.
six.
Yes, yes, fine. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
examples. Okay, anyone else? So this is an easy question. Okay, this is, yeah. Okay, Anish Pro, yes.
Dhruva Maharaj's mother.
Okay, yeah, fine. Of
It's a
course, we
little
don't
different
have
example.
connection, but what she told is in.
She gave the. Is that okay?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, fine. That's okay. Yes, Soumya Mataji.
Vashishta Muni.
Vasishta Muni. Yeah, of course. She is not a spiritual teacher, not so much known as a spiritual teacher, but fine. Okay. Okay, so for third one, maybe this is more important. What are disadvantages of following a spiritual master who is not bona fide? Yes, Pro. Rajpati Gopinath.
They won't teach us the real goal of life, maybe some material things. Like we can see the Sukracharya also when Vamanadev came. Like for this material desires, he told it. And personally, God exists also, he told not to support, not to give. So instead of real goal of life, some material things, maybe we end up something again. But
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, yes, Soumya Mataji.
Prabhuji, their destination is not means their destination is not God, some darker reason, like Prabhupada mentioned, and the followers also goes to darker region.
Okay, okay. Okay, yeah. That Prahlad Maharaj, they will lead their followers to heaven. Yes. Okay. Anyone else?
Guruji, they would be whimsical. They won't be teaching from Shastras.
Okay, yes. Okay. Yeah. They will means they will not have any, you can say, coherence. Coherence means no, they will teach different things at different places or not different times and also that is there. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, one thing they will not teach complete knowledge. They may teach false knowledge, and again, yeah, they may not have any coherency, and again, they may also exploit their followers for material things. That is also there. That comes many times. We get to know here and there. But yeah. Okay, what are the advantages of following a bona fide spiritual master?
Guruji, will talk about pure devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They will talk about the directions from the Shastras itself.
Okay, yes. Okay, fine. Anything else? Yes, Rajpati Gopinath.
so they engages in that Navavida Bhakti, like so or like how Prabhupada also like currently for ISKCON society has given. So through that we can purify ourselves and I have some other question, Prabhu. After this, like we can discuss like other
Okay.
devotees.
Okay, anyone else? Any point? Yes, Soumya Mataji.
Prabhuji, the bona fide spiritual master will always try to bring the disciple, upwards towards the God.
Okay.
So any progress in bhakti is by the mercy of bona fide spiritual master. It's because of them.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
very important.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, Vidita Mataji. Okay, I think by mistake she raised hand. Okay. Rajpati Gopinath Prabhu, you have some question?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, my question is, so though we got a bona fide spiritual master, due to some our mistakes, there are some disadvantages. I heard like some of like our ISKCON society devotees also they went for like Siddhi Pranali, some Sarupa Siddhi like that. So in that way, what is the position of the devotees? Because maybe we received the bona fide spiritual master, we know they have like maybe something like due to some lack of something disturbances, they're going to some other sampradayas. In that case, though we have the advantages, but we feel some disadvantages. What is the position of them? They will come back again, or like what they will do? Just sorry to ask this question.
No, you are saying that
Yeah.
because they go there, what disadvantage they are getting, or like?
No, they're already in bona fide sampradaya. But due to some things, they are training like they are teach something like Siddhi Pranali, Swarup Siddhi, what is our Rupa. That they are connecting now. They're 50% there and not completely there and completely. Those who are in bona fide, they went to that.
Okay, you mean to say they are they are initiated in a bona fide sampradaya, but they are hearing from some others.
Hearing and some are leaving also slowly.
Yeah, leaving means they are taking initiation from them or like something like that.
That initiation I don't know, Prabhu, but they are leaving this society. But whether they take
leaving the society, okay. Yeah, see, the path which Prabhupada gave and all, it is complete and no, things are complete, but yeah, sometimes they may appear incomplete or they don't have something or somebody else may say like that. So that is, so one has to go to some senior devotees, advanced devotees and ask these questions instead of hearing some others comments and all. So that is the thing. Now what will happen to them? See, if they're offensive towards our sampradaya, then yeah, that is a serious aparat. They may have to get consequences from that. So that is one thing. And of course, one thing is Siddha Pranali is a bona fide path, but thing is, it is not so easy to do in this day and age. That is the thing. So, and if they are going to somebody who is again pure and very proper, yeah, because that's what, if they tell wrong about Prabhupada and ISKCON gurus and all, then they're committing Vaishnava aparadh. So that is a serious thing. And if they're going to somebody who is coming in a parampara and giving Siddha Pranali, and if they are giving proper path and pure, they will have some consequences and all. But again, if they again ask if their guru is okay with that or something, and if they means that's what, if they're favorable, of course you're saying they're leaving, so that's what they'll get reactions of Vaishnava Aparadh that way. And if they're practicing, if they're going for some wrong reasons and all, they will also get into sinful life. You can say that much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Sorry to ask that.
Yeah. Of course, we cannot say always general. We have to see from case to case.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anish bro, can you spotlight me and make me also co-host so that I can spotlight myself? Yes, Soumya Mataji, you can read from here in the Bhagavad Gita.
In the Bhagavad Gita 9.25, it is clearly said that those who worship the Pitras or forefathers attain the planets of the forefathers, that the gross materialists who make plans to remain here stay in this world, and that the devotees of the Lord who worship none but Lord Krishna, the supreme cause of all causes, reach him in his spiritual sky. Here also in Shri Ishopanishad, it is verified that one achieves different results by different modes of worship. If we worship the Supreme Lord, we will certainly reach Him in His eternal abode. And if we worship demigods like Sun God or Moon God, we can reach their respective planets without a doubt. And if we wish to remain on the wretched planet with our planning commissions and our stopgap political adjustments, we can certainly do that also.
Yeah, means different people will have different destinations. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Yeah, so like in the Bhagavad Gita it is told, no? Yanti deva vrita deva, pitrini yanti pitri vrita, bhutani yanti bhuteja, yanti madhyajinopi ma. Nowhere in Prabhupada in translation also is saying, okay, this I think is in the, okay. This is the thing in the purport. Nowhere in the authentic scriptures it is said that one will ultimately reach the same goal by doing anything or worshipping anyone. Such foolish theories are offered by self-made spiritual masters who have no connection with the parampara, the bona fide system of disciplic succession. Like it's there is a popular saying outside, no? Yatomat tatopat means no, any path will take you to the same goal of Brahman. But if you see, the different paths have different goals. Like the karma yoga, it it is for purifying oneself and purifying the heart, antakarana shuddhi, and prepares one for jnana yoga. And jnana yoga is for attaining Brahman. Raja yoga or dhyana yoga is mainly for Paramatma or Brahman also. Bhakti yoga is mainly Bhagavan. And demigod worship will take one to Swarga. Social service, if one does, it will take one to piety. But no, all these things will not take one to same. Like the other organizations and all, they say social service is also Manava Seva, Madhava Seva. But without having God consciousness, if one blindly does social service, it will not take one to God. Like someone like Ranti Dev, if they are very God conscious and they are seeing the poor people as children of God and they are doing something, so then it may be, if their consciousness is very elevated, then that may be also seen as devotional service or something. But if somebody does not have any God consciousness, does not know anything about God, and is doing social service, thinking that that will also mm, he can attain God, so that will be just piety. And same things. So that's what everything cannot take one to Brahman, cannot at all make one Brahman. Yeah. So these kind of things, but no, if you say like these things, you'll get many followers. Because when you are very specific in your philosophy, you will only get a few people. If you say no, anything you can do and no, you can be part of our organization, so many people will come. So that is the thing. Okay. Mataji, you can read from him, the bona fide spiritual master.
Yes, Prabhuji. The bona fide spiritual master cannot say that all paths lead to the same goal and that anyone can attain this goal by his own mode of worship of the demigods or the supreme or whatever. Any common man can very easily understand that a person can reach his destination only when he has purchased a ticket for that destination. A person who has purchased a ticket for Calcutta can reach Calcutta but not Bombay. But the so called spiritual masters say that any and all paths will take one to the supreme goal. Such mundane and compromising offers attract many foolish creatures who become puffed up with their manufactured methods of spiritual realization. The Vedic instructions, however, do not uphold them.
Okay.
And
Yeah, Prabhupada is giving this example that you purchase a ticket for Kolkata, you cannot reach Mumbai. So mundane and compromising offers attract many foolish people, because now if you say anything you do, you can reach the same goal and all. Yep, then because people want justification for their actions, like philosophical justification. So so then they will be attracted to such organizations. So that is the problem. Yes, you can
Unless
continue.
unless one has received knowledge from the bona fide spiritual master who is in the recognized line of disciplic succession, one cannot have the real thing as it is. Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Evam parampara praptam imam rajasho viduhu sakalena mahata yogo nashta parantapaha. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. When Lord Sri Krishna was present on this earth, the Bhakti Yoga principles defined in the Bhagavad Gita had become distorted. Therefore, the Lord had to re-establish the disciplic system, beginning with Arjuna, who was the most confidential friend and devotee of the Lord. The Lord clearly told Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita 4.3, that it was because Arjuna was his devotee and the friend that he could understand the principles of the Bhagavad Gita. In other words, only the Lord's devotee and friend can understand the Gita. This also means that only one who follows the path of Arjuna can understand the Bhagavad Gita.
Because Bhagavad Gita's goal means Bhagavad Gita contains devotional service, means that is the goal, as the devotional service is the goal. So unless you are interested in devotional service, you will not appreciate the message of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, you will learn this in the preface and introduction of Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada speaks very many specific points on this. Okay. So effective learning means one should have respect for the teacher. If you have respect for the teacher, you will receive what the teacher is speaking. Then if you have interest in subject, then you will want to understand what the teacher is speaking. And then practice of subject. If you do practice of subject, then you will understand it more further, and you will also realize the subject. So Bhagavad Gita is about devotional service. So one should be interested in devotional service. So then only one will understand Bhagavad Gita. And one also should have the respect and should have the proper understanding of the speaker of Bhagavad Gita also. If that is not there, then one will pick up what he wants from Bhagavad Gita. He will not take the knowledge as complete thing. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Mataji, can continue.
At the present moment, there are many interpreters and translators of this sublime dialogue who care nothing for Lord Krishna or Arjuna. Such interpreters explain the words of the Bhagavad Gita in their own way and postulate all sorts of rubbish in the name of the Gita. Such interpreters believe neither in Sri Krishna nor in his eternal abode. How then can they explain the Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah. So that's what you should have, that respect and all. Otherwise, okay. So there are two types of understanding the scripture. So one is called Mukhya Vritti, which means literal meaning. Means cow gives milk. So it's very clear. I mean, there is no ambiguity in that. So if Mukhya Vritti is there is no ambiguity, we can just accept it like that. Gavana Vritti means indirect meaning. So if someone says there is a village on Ganga, if you take it literally, it does not make any sense. So then you have to see the indirect meaning. Means there is a village on the bank of Ganga. So Gavana Vritti needs to be used when literal meaning is not clear, when it doesn't make sense or it is ambiguous. So then only we have to go to Gavana Vritti. Here in one purport of CC, Prabhupada explains that. We will just see that. Yes, Mataji, you can just read the purport.
It has become fashionable since the time of Shankaracharya to explain everything regarding the Shastras in an indirect way. Scholars take pride in explaining everything in their own way, and they declare that one can understand the Vedic scriptures in any way he likes. This any way you like method is foolishness, and it has created havoc in the Vedic culture. One cannot accept scientific knowledge in their own whimsical way. In the science of mathematics, for example, 2 plus 2 equals 4, and one cannot make it equal 3 or 5. Yet, although it is not possible to alter real knowledge, people have taken to the fashion of understanding Vedic knowledge in any way they like. It is for this reason that we have presented Bhagavad Gita as it is. We do not create meanings by concoction. Sometimes commentators say that the word Kurukshetra in the first verse of the Bhagavad Gita refers to one's body, but we do not accept this. We understand that Kurukshetra is a place that still exists, and according to the Vedic version, it is a Dharmakshetra or a place of pilgrimage. People still go there to perform Vedic sacrifices. Foolish commentators, however, say that Kurukshetra means the body and that Panch Pandav refers to the five senses. In this way, they distort the meaning and people are misled. Here, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirms that all Vedic literatures, including the Upanishads, Brahma Sutra, and others, whether Shruti, Smriti, or Nyaya, must be understood according to their original statements. To describe the direct
Meaning,
To
direct
describe
meaning.
the direct meaning of the Vedic literatures is glorious, but to describe them in one's own way, using imperfect senses and imperfect knowledge, is a disastrous blunder. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fully deprecated the attempt to describe the Vedas in this way.
It's a disastrous blunder. Yeah. उपनिषद सहित सूत्र कहे ये तत्व मुख्य वृत्तिया से अर्थ परम महत्व. So that's what Prabhupada is saying. That's why he's calling it as glorious. So that's why the misinterpretations, it's a disastrous blunder. Yeah, of course, I don't have the video. Okay, but 1 minute. Yeah. Yes, Mataji, you can continue. Krishna clearly says.
Krishna clearly says that only those who have lost their sense worship the demigods for partly rewards. Bhagavad Gita 7.20-23. Ultimately, he advises that one give up all other ways and modes of worship and fully surrender unto him alone. Bhagavad Gita 18.66. Only those who are cleansed of all sinful reactions can have such unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord. Others will continue hovering on the material platform with their paltry ways of worship, and thus will be misled from the real path under the false impression that all paths lead to the same goal.
So they will be in the material platform only. If they think that if they're not God conscious and they think that doing social service will not take us also to God. So then they may get some piety and they may get some uh, favorable birth in the next life. But again, it will be again, no, again in the same cycle they will go out. So they will think like that, but actually they will not go there.
Sinful material
No, no,
desires.
just a minute. Yeah, means if somebody has material desires and they worship demigods, demigods will quickly fulfill them, but again they'll remain on the material plane only. Yeah. Okay, I think because they will commit more sin also. No? So generally the sinful reactions will not get cleansed by doing demigod worship and all these things. Okay. Yes, you can continue in this mantra of
In this mantra of Sri Ishopanishad, the word Sambhavat, by worship of the supreme cause, is very significant. Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and everything that exists has emanated from him. In the Bhagavad Gita 10.8, the Lord says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
So now, till now, Prabhupada has spoken how demigod worship is no temporary thing and all. Now, Prabhupada is focusing on the Sambhuti, means no the worship of the Supreme Lord. Yes, Mataji, you can continue. Here is a
I am the source. Here is a correct description of the Supreme Lord given by the Lord Himself. The words Sarvasva Prabhava indicate that Krishna is the creator of everyone, including Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And because these three principal deities of the material world are created by the Lord is the creator of all that exists in the material and spiritual worlds. In the Atharva Veda, Gopal Tapani Upanishad 1.24, it is similarly said, He who existed before the creation of Brahma and who enlightened Brahma with Vedic knowledge is Lord Sri Krishna. Similarly, the Narayana Upanishad 1 states that then the Supreme Person Narayan desired to create all living beings. Thus, from Narayan, Brahma was born. Narayan created all the Prajapatis. Narayan created Indra. Narayan created the eight Vasus. Narayan created the 11 Rudras. Narayan created the 12 Adityas. Since Narayan is a plenary manifestation of Lord Krishna, Narayan and Krishna are one and the same. The Narayan Upanishad also states Devaki's son Krishna is the Supreme Lord. The identity of Narayana with the Supreme Cause has also been accepted and confirmed by Sripad Shankaracharya. Even though Shankaracharya does not belong to the Vaishnav or personalist cult, the Atharvaved Maha-Upanishad 1 also states only Narayan existed in the beginning when neither Brahma nor Shiva nor fire
nor water, nor stars from here.
nor water, nor stars, nor sun, nor moon existed. The Lord does not remain alone but creates as he desires. Krishna himself states in the Moksha Dharma, I created the Prajapatis and the Rudras. They do not have complete knowledge of me because they are covered by my illusionary energy. It is also stated in the it is also stated in the Varaha Purana, Narayan is the supreme personality of Godhead, and from him the four headed Brahma was manifested, as well as the Rudras, who later became omniscient. Thus, all Vedic literature confirms that Narayan or Krishna is the cause of all causes. In the Brahma Samhita 5.1 also it is said that Supreme Lord is Sri Krishna Govinda, the delighter of every living being and the primeval cause of all causes. They really learned that the really learned persons know this from evidence given by the great sages and the Vedas, and thus they decide to worship Lord Krishna as all in all. Such persons are called Buddha or really learned because they worship only Krishna.
Yeah. Like Prabhupada explained in this paragraph, like no Ham Sarvasya Prabhu, like how everyone is coming from Krishna. So Prabhupada quoted different references, like how the different entities like no, the Vasus, the Prajapatis, the demigods, they are all come from Narayan. And then Prabhupada also showed that there is no Narayan is a plenary expansion of Krishna. So like that, Prabhupada explained the word, no, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. Then in this, he was telling about Buddha Bhava Samanvita, like one who is convinced about all these things. So then he will worship Krishna. Okay. Yes, Mataji, you can continue.
The conviction that Krishna is all in all is established when one hears the transcendental message from the undisturbed Acharya with faith and love. One who has no faith in or love for Lord Krishna cannot be convinced of this simple truth. Those who are faithless are described in the Bhagavad Gita 9.11 as Mudhas, fools or asses. It is said that the Mudhas deride the personality of Godhead because they do not have complete knowledge from the undisturbed Acharya. One who is disturbed by the whirlpool of material energy is not qualified to become an acharya.
Okay. So we need to hearing the transcendental message from the undisturbed acharya with faith and love. So one may hear from an undisturbed acharya but may not have faith and may not have love. May have love but may not have faith. So all these things are possible. So both are needed, faith and love. Okay. So you can take some time. How much time? Yeah, around 8 minutes you can take. And you can think about these questions. What are some wrong purposes for which hearing can be done? Mention some wrong practices or etiquette in hearing. And what is the right etiquette and best practices for hearing? Hearing means hearing the devotional devotional knowledge, transcendental knowledge. And with what purpose? What should be our goal when we hear? Okay. 8 minutes, then we will discuss. Okay, so for the first question, what are some wrong purposes for which hearing can be done? Yes, Sharyu Mataji.
Hare Krishna Guruji. Sometimes people hear to show others that we know more and we have more knowledge than others.
Yeah, yeah. So
That
for
is
that
the
they
main
hear,
purpose. Huh?
for that they hear Bhagavatam or yeah, you may say it is for more for speaking Bhagavatam.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about just hearing the lectures and
Yeah, yeah, that also there. Yeah, they are knowledgeable or they want knowledge or something. Okay, you can say that. Okay. Yes, Soumya Mataji.
Prabhuji, for entertainment, like when we are hearing in through YouTube, we just see that someone is, cracking jokes and is that thing.
Yes, yes. Good point. Thank you. Okay. Vidita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So at times, sometimes, to belittle someone or, criticize, ours is best and yours is
Acha, acha.
this.
Okay, okay. Okay, okay. ठीक, I understood. Okay, anyone else? Any other points? Okay. Yeah, sometimes it may be also for to get some information, or yeah, to criticize somebody, you may want to know something so that you can criticize them better. Yeah, so these are all wrong purposes. Of course, if somebody wants to hear something humorous and all, they may do so, but that should not be like part of regular sadhana. They may have to have that honesty, that yeah, I need some kind of recreation kind of thing or some break. So they may do that, but that should not be become like core sadhana or something. Okay. And yeah. And okay, now second one, mention some wrong practices or etiquette during hearing. Yes, Vidita Mataji, you can say.
Listening from someone who is not in the parampara.
Okay, yeah, okay. Fine. Good point. Okay.
Yeah.
Any further points? This point we'd also discussed before, but yeah.
Or we can, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, we can, say like, listening it, hearing it, and not, contemplating on it, or not bringing it into practice.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. So that is also correct. Yes. Okay, yeah. Anyone else? Any points? Wrong practices? Why? Yeah. Soumya Mata, yes.
Prabhuji, sometimes we are not doing this, what we say, uh, personal, this we don't do it through line. Like from Bhagavad Gita, we started, we are hearing something from Bhagavad Gita, then Bhagavatam, from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we are doing it, not organized. So if we are
Okay.
doing Bhagavad Gita, some means if we continue doing that, that will help. But most of the time it happens that we are doing from this also, and we are not
Okay.
understanding anything.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. There is no focus. Okay, that is, yeah, that's also a valid point. Okay. Anyone? Means it's more like an etiquette while hearing in a class. Anything wrong practices? Okay, Vidita Mataji, more point.
At times, we even chant listening to the class, so that could be one of wrong practice.
We chat.
Yes, we do
Okay,
chanting during the class.
okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, fine. Yes, yeah. So like that, of course, using mobile, checking WhatsApp. So these are all wrong practices. Or yeah, if it is online class and all, then multitasking while doing hearing and all, that should also be preferably avoided. But the more we pay attention, so the more we get benefit, both in terms of understanding also and both in terms of spiritual purification. Okay, then what is the right etiquette and best practices for hearing? Or like no, hearing means here more like hearing in a class. Yes, Soumya Mataji.
Prabhuji, I don't know about the hearing in the class, but like in ISKCON, it is prescribed that we should hear from Prabhupada first and then our Guru Maharaj. Then we can
Okay.
hear from others. So
Okay.
that is one point.
Okay, yeah, that is okay. That's a standard prescription which is there. Okay. Yes, Sangeeta Mataji.
Hear attentively and with faith.
Yeah, with faith. Yeah, these both are important. Okay. Any other points? Yeah, attentively. Yes, Mataji. One more point. Okay, then. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So it is said in Bhagavatam, Shunvata Shraddhaya Nityam Rinata Swachestitam. Means Shunvata Shraddhaya, with faith. So we should know, means we should have faith in that. We should know, we should have believe in the, should believe that, then only we should value that, that this is important for me. Otherwise, we may be just making a show of hearing so that we may get we may want to impress the speaker. So that's why we may somebody may sit in front and make a show of hearing, but they just want to impress the speaker but not really wanted to learn from the speaker. So That is also possible. So Shrunvata Shraddhaya, so that faith should be there. Nityam, it should be regular basis, preferably daily. Grantha, and one should make a conscious effort to contemplate on that. Grantha Swachestitam. So by one's own effort, one should absorb it. Means one should try to understand it and through and try to realize it through practice. Then Kalena na atidirgena Bhagavan Vishate Hrudi. So then uh, the Krishna will enter the heart, not immediately, but soon. Okay, then what should be our purpose when we hear? What should be the goal or purpose? Why we are here? Yes, Sangeeta Mataji.
To purify our heart or
Yes,
consciousness.
Yes. Yeah, so that's a good point. Okay, any other point? Yes, Soumya Mataji.
To increase our faith.
To increase our faith. Okay. Vidita Mataji.
To increase our faith and as Mataji told, even consciousness to purify and have faith that we will, this will help us to go back to Godhead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because this is an anga of bhakti also. Yes. Okay, Sarang Prabhu.
Prabhuji, basically, like when we are hearing, we should be always thinking how we can follow it. Also, how we can practice it, as you mentioned it before, like how we can practice it, in what way we can, and how much time and how we can do it. So based on that, we can ask questions.
So to improve our practice with that goal also we can hear.
Yes.
Yes, Rajpati Gopinath Prabhu.
Prabhu, like Cheto Dharma Marjanam, like so it normally like we will hear like to purify ourselves because every day is Maya. So in order to have that spiritual strength, also we have to hear daily, consistently, and also a service attitude. It increases, and when we are doing services also, it will help us when we hear and read and do the services. Not it is way mechanical.
Yeah. Good.
We said we try to implement.
Yes. Thank you.
To some extent, fully is good, but otherwise, to some extent, we can increase.
Yes.
Result.
Nice point. Thank you. Yes, Sanatan Gopal Prabhu.
Prabhu, more or less points covered, but I wrote submissive and subordinate attitude, with keeping all our material upadhis on the side and just being a very kind of having a very submissive attitude to receive and understand.
Yes. Thank you. Nice points. Okay. Yes, Soumya Mataji can continue reading before hearing the.
Before hearing the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was disturbed by the material whirlpool by his affection for his family, society, and community. Thus, Arjuna wanted to become a philanthropic, non-violent man of the world. But when he became Buddha by hearing the Vedic knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Person, he changed his decision and became a worshipper of Lord Sri Krishna, who had himself arranged the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna worshipped the Lord by fighting with his so-called relatives, and in this way he became a pure devotee of the Lord. Such accomplishments are possible only when one worships the real Krishna and not some fabricated Krishna invented by foolish men who are without knowledge of the intricacies of the science of Krishna described in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam.
So, whatever we are hearing, it should be based on the Shastra. Yes, you can continue, Mataji. According to the Vedanta Sutra.
According to the Vedanta Sutra, Sambhuta is the source of birth and sustenance, as well as the reservoir that remains after annihilation. Janmadhyasya Yatha, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1. The Srimad Bhagavatam, the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra by the same author, maintains that The source of all emanations is not like a dead stone, but is a abhignya or fully conscious. The primeval Lord Sri Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita 7.26 that he is fully conscious of past, present, and future, and that no one, including demigods such as Shiva and Brahma, knows him fully.
Yeah.
Certainly,
Just a minute. So Prabhupada explained the meaning of Sambhuta. Means it is the source of birth and sustenance, as well as the reservoir that remains after annihilation. So this is the meaning of the Sambhuta. And Asambhuta means that which does not remain after annihilation. Means that will apply to the demigods. Yes, Mataji, you can continue.
Certainly, half educated spiritual leaders who are disturbed by the tides of material existence cannot know him fully. They try to make some compromise by making the mass of humanity the object of worship. But they do not know that such worship is only a myth because the masses are imperfect. The attempt by these so-called spiritual leaders is something like pouring water on the leaves of a tree instead of the root. The natural process is to pour the water on the root, but such disturbed leaders are more attracted to the leaves than the root. Despite their perpetually watering the leaves, however, everything dries up for want of nourishment.
So the real nourishment will not happen. Like if you know this kind of prescribing of doing social service and all, yeah, feel one may feel nice, emotionally nice, or no, they may also feel intellectual, they may feel more sattvic and all, but the real nourishment of the atma and the real purification of heart doesn't happen. So Prabhupada is here indicating about this concept of manava seva, madhava seva. So that is what. Yeah. Okay, I think, yeah. So that's what the happiness in Krishna consciousness is described in Bhagavad Gita like this. No? Yam labdva cha param labham manyate na adhikam tata. So once one gets that happiness, one will not want anything else. This means tithona dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. And one will not be disturbed by any kind of suffering when one is situated in that happiness of Krishna consciousness, or spiritual happiness, more general. Yeah, this is the verse from Bhagavatam which tells Yata taror mula nishechanena trupyanti tatskanda bhujopashaka pranopahara chayatindriyanam tateva sarvarahanam achyutejya. Yes, Mataji, you can continue.
Sri Ishopanishad advises us to pour water on the root, the source of all germination. Worship of the mass of humanity by rendering bodily service, which can never be perfect, is less important than service to the soul. The soul is the root that generates different types of bodies according to the law of karma. To serve human beings by medical aid, social help, and educational facilities, while at the same time cutting the throats of poor animals in slaughterhouses is no service at all to the soul, the living being. The living being is perpetually suffering in different types of bodies from the material miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death. The human form of life offers one a chance to get out of this entanglement simply by re establishing the lost relationship between the living entity and the Supreme Lord. The Lord comes personally to teach this philosophy of surrender onto the Supreme, the Sambhuta. Real service to humanity is rendered when one teaches surrender to and worship of the Supreme Lord with full love and energy. That is the instruction of Sri Ishopanishad in this mantra. Prabhuji, can someone else read?
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji, I can read.
Yes, bro. Can continue the simple way.
Yes, bro. The simple way to worship the Supreme Lord in the age of disturbance is to hear and chant about his great activities. The mental speculators, however, think that the activities of the Lord are imaginary. Therefore, they refrain from hearing of them and invent some word jugglery without any substance to divert the attention of the innocent masses of people. Instead of hearing of the activities of the Lord Krishna, such pseudo spiritual masters advertises themselves by inducing their followers to sing about them. In modern times, the number of such pretenders has increased considerably, and it has become a problem for the pure devotees of the Lord to save the masses of people from the unholy propaganda of these pretenders and pseudo incarnations.
Yeah. So yeah, here Prabhupada told like how the living. So the real solution is giving the message of God purely from the Shastra. Like Prabhupada gives the example of the prodigal son, no, not prodigal son. If a rich man's son is separated from his father, the best way to help him is to again connect him to his father instead of arranging food for him or education for him. So that way. Yeah, the social service and all, they may be helpful at one level, but considering them as an alternative to devotional service and considering them as a sole means or a full-fledged means for liberation, so that is wrong. So then Prabhupada is saying about how instead of some spiritual masters, spiritual teachers, they prescribe worshipping themselves, worshipping their guru instead of worshipping Krishna and all. Yeah, so like for Guru Purnima they do a lot big festivals and all they do, but and their conception of Guru Purnima means actually Guru Purnima is the appearance of Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva has to be worshipped, but they say that Vyasadeva and they are not different, so they worship themselves. But in ISKCON, Guru is different. Means Guru is representative of Vyasadeva, but Guru is not Vyasadeva. So we don't celebrate Guru Purnima in that way. So we celebrate on the appearance day of the particular spiritual master. Here, Vyas Puja is done to them. And if you see ISKCON advertisements, first the lordships are prominent. Then Prabhupada is there. Then the gurus or some particular preacher or some things are there. But if you see other posters when you go out and all, especially during the festival of Dindi and Kumbh Mela and all, one can see the guru is prominent, and Lord is in some corner, or sometimes Lord is absent on it. So that shows means the purpose is somewhat evident in that. They're focused more on self promotion than promotion of the promotion of God and God's message. And yeah, one has to be careful in this regard. Like if someone is trying to do some outreach through social media or something, one has to be a bit careful that the focus should be on promotion of the message of the transcendental message instead of oneself. Yeah. So here Prabhupada is talking the Upanishads indirectly draw our attention to the primeval Lord Sri Krishna. But the Bhagavad Gita, which is the summary of all the Upanishads, directly points to Sri Krishna. Yeah, Upanishads, the focus is more on Brahman and detachment. Directly the Bhagavan concept doesn't come. If you see in Ishopanishad also, in the next to next verse, indirectly it comes. There is prayer, there is concept of face of the Lord and all. It doesn't directly say Bhagavan, or it doesn't directly call the Lord by his name, and does not directly use the word Bhagavan and define it like that. It doesn't do. But Bhagavad Gita directly points. Krishna directly says how he is Bhagavan. So many sages approve of this, like that. He does. Okay, Prabhu, you can continue. Therefore, Therefore, one should hear about.
Therefore, one should hear about Krishna as he is by hearing from the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. And in this way, one's mind will gradually be cleansed of all contaminated things. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.17 says, by hearing of the activities of the Lord, the devotees draws the attention of the Lord. Thus, the Lord, being situated in the heart of every living being, helps the devotee by giving him proper directions. The Bhagavad Gita 10.10 confirms this. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upyanti te. The Lord's inner direction cleanses the devotee's heart of all contamination produced by the material modes of passion and ignorance. Non-devotees are under the sway of passion and ignorance. One who is in passion cannot become detached from the material hankering, and one who is in ignorance cannot know what he is and what the Lord is. Thus, when one is in passion or ignorance, there is no chance of self-realization. However much one may play the part of a religionist. For a devotee, the modes of passion and ignorance are removed by the grace of the Lord. In this way, the devotee becomes situated in the quality of goodness, the sign of perfect Brahman. 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 Yeah. Anyone can qualify as a Brahman if he follows the path of devotional service under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.18 also says, Kirata. Just yes, please. You please.
Kirata hunandra pulinda pulkasha abira shumba yavana kashadaya ye anye cha papa yada pashraya ashraya shuddhanti tasmai prabhu vishnave namo. Yes.
Any low-born person can be purified by the guidance of pure devotee of the Lord, for the Lord is extraordinarily powerful. When one attains Brahminical qualification, he becomes happy and enthusiastic to render devotional service to the Lord. Automatically, the service of Lord is unveiled before him. By knowing the science of God, one gradually becomes freed from the material attachment, and one's doubtful mind becomes crystal clear by the grace of the Lord. One who attains the stage is a liberated. One who attains this stage is a liberated soul and can see the Lord in every step of life. This is the perfection. This is the perfection of sambhava, as described in the mantra. In this mantra of Sri Isopanishad.
Yeah, so this is actually, Prabhupada is paraphrasing the translations of the Bhagavatam first canto, second chapter. So there are series of verses. So it's starting with Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So when one serves the Bhagavatam, it also refers to service of the devotee Bhagavata or serving the Bhagavatam, like hearing Bhagavatam Nityam. So regularly, possible daily, Nityam Bhagavad Seva. So then Prayeshu Abhadreshu, most of the obstacles will get cleansed. So one of the obstacles are passion and ignorance. So passion means working for sense gratification, and ignorance is like going against the rules of Vedas, etc. More you will study in Bhagavad Gita what are the aspects of modes of passion and ignorance. So because of that, it becomes difficult to do devotional service, and one cannot do devotional service for a long time. So when these impurities are cleansed, so when one will be situated in goodness, which will help one to practice devotional service for a long time and more properly, with proper knowledge, faith, all those things. So that's what happens. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So we discussed in the earlier previous class about the philosophy of Mayavad, but also we have to also understand how to, means that is for our own clarity on how the Mayavad philosophy is wrong, and know how it is wrong, all that thing. But now, if we encounter somebody, who is following that philosophy or who is affiliated to that organization and all, so like how to deal. There are some quotes like Mayavadi Sunile Hui Sarvanash, and Mayavadi Krishna Paradi. And sometimes we may stay, some of acharyas or some devotees may write to devotees, and these are all written in devotional scriptures, which means there. So these statements are meant for devotees, to help devotees or not to clear the misconceptions of devotees. It's not spoken in that way to criticize the Mayavadis. That is not the goal. So Prabhupada spoke these kind of statements, very heavy statements, sometimes to protect his disciples. His disciples are very new and they're very gullible and liberal minded. And earlier also they they were also hearing from some other gurus and all. So that's why Prabhupada spoke with them like that. And they love Prabhupada too much. So Prabhupada had that adhikar, means had that authority. And Prabhupada is also very elderly and very advanced. But on the other hand, if you see how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dealt with Prakashananda Saraswati, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Keshava Kashmiri, and how also Prabhupada dealt with Dr. Mishra and all. So he told, philosophically we may fight, but culturally we are friends. Means Prabhupada cooked for him when he was sick and all. So we have to be sensitive when we are dealing with somebody who is connected to some Mayavadi. They may be our friends, relatives, colleagues, and all. So we have to be sensitive. So these statements are meant not to defeat them. These statements are meant for our own understanding, clarity, and all. So, but because Bhagavad Gita it is told, Anudvega Karam Vakyam Satyam Priya Hitam Chayat. So it should be Priya and it should be Anudvega Kara. It should not agitate them. So then, then it goes with it. And it is an austerity. So, so we have to also practice that austerity with them also. This is not again just meant for being with devotees, but also with them. So we should not unnecessarily agitate them. Yeah. So, yeah. And recently, I think 1 year back around, it happened when ISKCON devotee spoke something about one famous teacher, and then there was a lot of opposition, and ISKCON has to clarify the statement, many things. So especially when you have to talk about the spiritual teachers, because they are very famous and they have done a lot of contribution in terms of nationalism, sometimes in terms of education and all. So first we have to appreciate their contribution, social, cultural, and even philosophical. Then you have to see whom you are speaking to them. If you have good relationship and all, and they are not too much emotionally attached to that person and all, then you can speak philosophically and tell them. Otherwise, it will unnecessarily, one may do anti-preaching and like that. Yes. Okay, Gurmeet Prabhu has some question. Yeah, so also if you see many followers of this Mayavadi organization and all, they're more culturally attracted to such organizations, and they're emotionally attracted to that charisma of the leader. But they may not have a lot of philosophical conviction in the Mayavadi philosophy. And if you see also the even in the philosophy given by Shankaracharya, he gave many teachings on following varnashram and renunciation, and how Maya is illusion and all. Even our devotees also use, our acharyas also use these things that go bhaja govindam, that all those verses. They are also helpful for our own renunciation also. So it's not only Mayavad philosophy he gave, but many other things also he gave. And if you see Mayavad is not now so much a significant opposition to our preaching or in spirituality. The more oppositions are materialism. So so those things are more opposition than Mayavad philosophy now. Yeah. Okay, so okay, we will proceed. We'll try to complete this verse also. It is small, relatively small. Okay. Yeah, Pro, so you can recite after me. Sambhutim cha vinasham cha yastat vedho bayam saha.
Sambhutim cha vinasam cha yaste bhayam cha.
Vinashena mrityum tirtva sambhutyam amrutam ashnute.
Vinasena mrityum tirtva sambhutya mrityumasrute.
Yeah. So instead of using asambhuti, Prabhupada is using the word vinasha. Vinashena means which will get destroyed. That way. Okay. One should know perfectly the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna and his transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastimes. So that is referring to the Sambhutim, which Prabhupada defined the source of creation and sustenance, and also destruction, as well as the temporary material creation with its temporary demigods, men and animals. When one knows these, he surpasses death and the ephemeral cosmic manifestation with it. And in the eternal kingdom of God, he enjoys his eternal life of bliss and knowledge. Yeah. So Mrityum Tirtva. So Mrityum Tirtva and Amrutam Ashmati. Yeah. So this Vedic system and all the Devata worship and all, that will help in Mrityum Tirtva. That will help us in transcending this world. Then the devotional service will help us in attaining the Amrutam Ashmati. Yes, Pro, we can read this purport.
Sure. By its so-called advancement of knowledge, human civilization has created many material things, including spaceships and atomic energy. Yes, it has. Yet it has failed to create a situation in which people need not die, take birth again, become old, or suffer from disease. Whenever an intelligent man raises the question of these miseries before so-called scientists, the scientist very cleverly replies that material science is progressing and that ultimately it will be possible to render man deathless, ageless, and diseaseless.
Yeah. So that is a post-dated text Prabhupada calls. Yeah, this is one of the recent trend among some rich people. Means it's not just about Walt Disney and all, but now also these things are happening. Just see a short video.
Do you think that time travel is possible? You may say no, but what if we told you that there are scientists who are planning to make it happen? They want to transport people to a distant future, and thousands of participants are willing. But they will not zoom through black holes. They will not travel in spaceships or fancy cars. They will be frozen. The concept is called cryonics, where a person's body is frozen in the hope that a future civilization will reanimate it. That is the eventual aim, that one day the frozen body will be rewarmed and revived, kind of like a less gross version of mummification, with the expectation that the mummy will come back to life. Now, in day-to-day medicine, freezing is already a useful technique, albeit on a smaller scale. Doctors freeze blood cells, bone marrow, sperm, and embryos. But freezing a human body, that's another ballgame. Cryonics can begin only after a person is clinically and legally dead. You cannot start freezing before that. You have to die. After death, the procedure needs to happen quickly. First, dry ice is used to keep the body at a lower temperature, so the body can be moved to a storage facility. And once that happens, the body is put in a chamber. It is infused with chemicals. The temperature is slowly lowered further below minus 130 degrees Celsius. This cold allows the cells to survive and the body is preserved.
Much like people in a long-term coma, except there's no metabolism. So to them, no time is passing. So people say, well, if they're not alive, they must be dead. Well, no, there's kind of an in-between state, which is not really alive or dead. By kind of a crude analogy, you have daytime and you have nighttime, but you also have twilight in between because they kind of shade into one another. So in our view, dying is a process, and cryonics stops that process. It puts dying on a pause and lets you go into the future where we have greater capabilities to reverse that and bring you back to life.
It sounds like science fiction, being frozen in time, then reawakening. If successful, this would be a massive breakthrough. But it's a very big if. Even the scientific community is skeptical. Cryonics is generally viewed as a pseudoscience. In other words, quackery. While it promises to defy death, there is no proof, there is no evidence that cryonics can revive people, absolutely no guarantee or precedent.
The only group that you really see getting excited about the possibility are people who are people who specialize in studying the distant future, or people who have a stake in wanting you to pay the money to do it. I don't really see any mainstream brain scientists, physiologists, people from psychiatry who study the mind. They're not lining up saying, I think this is a sound idea. Moreover, I don't think any of them do it.
But this has not discouraged the enthusiasts, men of science, tech moguls like Jeff Bezos, Sam Altman, Larry Page included. They've pledged hundreds of millions of dollars towards this cause. 500 people have frozen their bodies already. They're now stored in vats around the world, mostly in the US. 500 people have already done it. More than 5,000 people want to follow suit. They've signed up to be frozen. Usually the takers are uber wealthy, which should not be surprising. Regular people have the real life to worry about, not the afterlife. So also the procedure costs upwards of $200,000. The rates are lower if you just want to freeze your brain inside your severed head. That happens too. Clearly, buying islands, building rockets, and planning a trip to Mars is not enough. So the wealthy are not only freezing their bodies, they're also freezing their assets. They're creating a revival trust. It is like a trust fund, except it will not be passed down generations. It will be created by and for the frozen dead. It will be saved for when they come back to life. Basically, if you're crazy rich, then your money can be immortal too. But there's a slight problem. This immortality depends on a tower of assumptions and a lot of questions. Are you alive if your body is cryonically preserved? If you are revived, are you the same person? In the eyes of the law, no. You cannot reverse a death certificate, not yet. Also, we don't know if the bodies are being frozen successfully. So far, the freezing services are crude. Soon after death, parts of the brain stop working. So imagine waking up 100 years later, if you do wake up, only to be a shell without a working brain. Kind of like a cognitive vegetable. I'm still not clear how this works, and cryonics does not have the answers, but it promises to never say never. At best, the concept comes through. At worst, we have a bunch of white walkers living amongst us.
Yeah, so what Prabhupada is saying, so this is some foolish attempt or some illusory, foolish attempt only, you can say. And even some scientists are also, they also don't agree with it. Yes, bro, you can continue. Such answers prove the scientists.
Such answers prove the scientists' gross ignorance of material nature. In material nature, everyone is under the stringent laws of matter and must pass through 6 stages of existence: birth, growth, maintenance, production of byproducts, deterioration, and finally death. No one in contact with material nature can be beyond these six laws of transformation. Therefore, no one, whether demigod, man, animal, or plant, can survive forever in the material world. Medicine.
So if you see, every medicine comes with an expiry date, and every building also has a lifespan. This building may stay for 100 years or 1,000 years. So even if someone purchases a flat and all, it's not like that flat will stay for eternally. It may stay for few tens of years. So means whatever God is only creating those things, so they have a lifespan. So they have a time. Only till that time they will exist. And if you see Atma, it's a very minute ability to control and manipulate nature. So it cannot create something that is very eternal. So the creator only told, no, Antavattu ime deha nityasyokta sharivana. So Antavattu ime deha, this body is going to be destroyed. Anashino aprameyasya tasmad yudyasva bhavata. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Sure to come to an end. Yes, Prabhu, we can continue the duration of life. Yes, Sanatan Gopal Prabhu can continue.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. Sorry, Prabhu. The duration of life varies according to species. Lord Brahma, the chief living being within the material universe, lives for millions and millions of years, while a minute germs lives for some hours only. But no one in the material world can survive eternally. Things are born or created under certain conditions. They stay for some time, and if they continue to live, they grow, procreate, gradually dwindle, and finally vanish. According to these laws, even the Brahmas, of which there are millions in different which there are millions in different universes, are all liable to death either today or tomorrow. Therefore, the entire material universe is called Mrityalok, the place of death.
Yeah. Yeah, means like the material scientists and politicians, they are trying to make this place deathless because they have no information of the deathless spiritual nature. Achha, I think, but yeah. So scientists, they try these medicines, treatments, transplants, so look young or at least become young. So we have discussed, I think, in the previous class also these things. And the politicians, they try to promote these schemes and they try to facilitate these treatments. There are treatments, yeah, they say like no Ayushman Bharat and all, but it's not like they can live for eternally. So it is always there is always an end. Even if you treat yourself, you cure of all diseases, but death is going to happen, yeah, one way or other way. Yes, Pro, you can continue. This is due to their
This is due to their ignorance of the Vedic literature, which contains full knowledge confirmed by mature transcendental experience. Unfortunately, modern man is averse to receiving knowledge from the Vedas, Puranas, and other scriptures. From the Vishnu Puran 6.7.61, we receive the following information. Vishnu Sakti Parak Prokta Kshetra Kyakhya Tatha Para Avidya Karma Samagyanya Tritiya Saktir Ishyate Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 6.154. Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, possesses different energies known as para, superior, and apara, inferior. The living entities belong to the superior energy. The material energy in which we are presently entangled is the inferior energy. The material creation is made possible by this energy, which covers the living entities with ignorance, avidya, and induces them to perform fruitive activities. Yet there is another part of the Lord's superior energy that is different from both this material inferior energy and the living entities. That superior energy constitutes the eternal, deathless abode of the Lord. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 8.20.
Yeah, so till now, previously, so Prabhupada spoke about how the world is no Mrityu no. So it is the death is going to come, and he proved based on the Shastra. Now Prabhupada is going to describe about the Amrutamashmita. No, the eternal part of the second is not. Yeah, you can continue. I think this is confirmed in the Vallabh. Yes, continue.
परस्तस्मात्तु भावोऽन्यो व्यक्तो व्यक्तात् सनातनः यः स सर्वेषु भूतेषु नस्तत्सु न विनश्यति. All the material planets, upper, lower, and intermediate, including the Sun, Moon, and Venus, are scattered throughout the universe. These planets exist only during the lifetime of Brahma. Some lower planets, however, are vanquished after the end of one day of Brahma and are again created during the next day of Brahma. On the upper planets, time is calculated differently. One of our years is equal to 124 120 equal to only 24 hours or one day and night. On many of the upper planets, on,
Or one day and night on
yeah, and on many of the upper planets, the four ages of Earth, Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali, last only 12,000 years according to the time scale of the upper planets. Such a length of time multiplied by 1000 constitutes one day of Brahma, and one night of Brahma is the same. Such days and nights accumulate into months and years, and Brahma lives for 100 such years. At the end of Brahma's life, the complete universal manifestation is vanquished. Those living beings who reside on higher planets like the sun and the moon, as well as those on Mrityuloka, this earth planet, and also those who live on lower planets, all are merged into the waters of devastation during the night of Brahma. During this time, no living beings or species remain manifest, although spiritually they continue to exist. This unmanifested stage is called Avyakta. Again, when the entire universe is vanquished at the end of Brahma's lifetime, there is another Avyakta state.
So there are now Prabhupada is saying like how universe is temporary, but there are different things stay for different times. Like body is generally temporary, 100 years, but here now it is more like 70-80 years. And our earth planet is temporary. So one day of Brahma, 1000 Divya Yugas it stays. So then in the night, the earth planet is destroyed. And universe is temporary, only it will stay for 100 years of Brahma. So this is the universe. Yeah, so in the partial annihilation, so from here to mostly till here, I think all these planets get destroyed, and the people living, they will enter Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Means the Atmas, they enter the Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And again in the day of Brahma, then all these planets get, but somebody can be muted. And at the end of the universe, then all then at the end of the universe, all this is destroyed, and all the Atmas get entered into the Karanodaksha Vishnu. And when the new universe is created, then they will get their bodies. So, but in the sense, this whole universe, this different planets, all are temporary in that sense. Yes, bro, you can continue, but beyond this.
But beyond these two, unmanifested state is another unmanifested state, the spiritual atmosphere or nature. There are a great number of spiritual planets in this atmosphere, and these planets exist eternally. Even when all the planets within the material universe are vanquished at the end of Brahma's life, and there are many material universes, each under the jurisdiction of Brahma, and this cosmic manifestation within the jurisdiction of the various Brahmas is but a display of 1/4 of energy of the Lord. Ekpad Vibhuti. This is the inferior energy. Beyond this, beyond the jurisdiction of Brahma, is the spiritual nature, which is called Tripadi Vibhuti, 3/4 of the Lord's energy. This is the superior energy or Parasakti.
Yeah. So if you see, so these are all the eternal planets: Goloka, Vaikunta, Sakedam, and all. And this is only 1/4, but this is the 3/4. This is Ekapada Vibhuti. This is Tripada Vibhuti. Yeah. Yes, bro. The predominating.
The predominating supreme person residing within the spiritual nature is Lord Sri Krishna. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 8.22, he can be approached only by unalloyed devotional service and not by the process of jnana, philosophy, yoga, mysticism, or karma, fruitive work. The karmis or fruitive workers can elevate themselves to the Swargaloka planet, which include the sun and the moon. Gyanis and yogis can attain still higher planets such as Mahaloka, Tapaloka, and Brahmaloka. And when they become still more qualified through devotional service, they can enter into the spiritual nature, either the illuminating cosmic atmosphere of the spiritual sky, Brahman, or the Vaikuntha planets, according to their qualification. It is certain, however, that no one can enter into the spiritual Vaikuntha planets without being trained in the devotional service.
Yeah. So bhaktya labhyastu tva ananyaya. So only by ananya bhakti one can attain the abode of the Lord. The other people, they can jnanis, yogis and all, they can attain some planets, but they are all within the universe. Yes, you can.
On the material planets, everyone from Brahma down to the ant is trying to lord it over material nature, and this is the material disease. As long as this material disease continues, the living entity has to undergo the process of bodily change. Whether he takes...
I think that this is a little different topic. Maybe from here we'll discuss tomorrow. See, very small. Yeah, we'll discuss from tomorrow. Okay, thank you. From here, no? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so anyone has any questions on what we discussed today? Okay, if there are no questions, so thank you very much for your patient listening and participation.
Prabhuji, I have one question.
Yeah.
Like you told that, when Prabhuji, he was telling about one big acharya. So how we should deal with it? Because if we are not saying that someone is wrong, then are we not diplomatic? Because Prabhupada, many times he says that we should strongly oppose such people and such philosophy.
Yeah, we
So
can tell about the philosophy. We can tell the point, and we can try to defeat the point based on logic and shastra.
yeah, so that the other person will understand that their philosophy is wrong.
Yeah, like no Chetan Chandru says, like you have to build the bridge, and you have to allow the person to come to our side, and then let him destroy the bridge himself. Instead of, if he's trying to come on the bridge and you destroy the bridge, so then he will fall down. Means he will neither go to that path nor he will come to your path. He will become a materialist. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. 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 Any other question? Okay. Okay. So thank you very much for your patient listening and participation. Shri Ishopanishad ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.